we have some bad news about our good engine.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the best way to put it.
Our good engine. So when we initially started this project, I would say the whole point of getting this, like doing the whole Evo, was to drive it, right?
Exactly.
Would you say that was
the whole point?
Like
of
we wanted an Evo wagon,
the
and
whole operation is to drive it.
We bought a wrecked built Evo that supposedly had it was like a 2-liter like long rod motor. When we got it back, we pulled the oil pan off of it, drained the oil, all that stuff, and then looked in the engine, and obviously it was just a stock engine. So at that point, it was like, what do we do? Do we build the motor? Do we build the 2.4? Or in light of the whole idea of the project of, hey, let's just drive, let's get this thing driving, running and driving. Let's not put a bunch of time and effort into the engine. We have this good, like, it does look refreshed. It looks like
and when we pulled the pan initially, we were looking at the motor from a if it was built standpoint, not a health standpoint, or we drained the oil and didn't see anything. But now that I pulled the pan to reseal the oil pan before we put the motor in the car. Started looking around. There's some bearing material in the bottom of the pan. There's some material in the pickup tube for the oil pump. So we definitely have an issue with this motor.
And it's not a good issue.
It's not a good issue either. Yeah.
Not, a tissue won't fix it.
Yeah. Not
so right here,
issue.
looking at here's the crank journal. So it's okay. I mean, that looks okay. But then you look at the bearing.
It's just pitted and scored pretty badly.
And then let's look at the oil pan. I don't know if we could actually see down there.
Here's the first thing I saw in the pan. If you see, so you can see the residual oil is pretty metallic.
On the bottom is kind of like gray, which is kind of shows a little bit of bearing material has been through.
You see, there's a couple chunks right there. If you can zoom in on those.
And it looks like a brass piece, which is honestly probably a piece of the bearing out of turbo. Yeah. So who knows? I mean, this isn't like into the world bearing material. Like there's not chunks, there's not flakes in it, but you could definitely tell the oil is a little silvery. And then now it looks like a little bit of brass, which is probably from the turbo because stock Evo 9 turbo.
There's a pretty big piece right there in the center of silver material. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if the turbo might have went bad and got bearing material from the turbo in the motor and kind of chewed up some of the bearings on the rotating assembly or what, but. We pulled one cap off so far. I think we're going to pull the rest of the caps off and kind of see how the other bearings look on the other cylinders.
I thought we were going to drive this thing this week.
Yeah, so do I.
So and again, the whole purpose of just putting the stock engine in it was to eventually build it later. Now it's like, I just wanted it done. Like I just wanted not like the ultimate like 700 horsepower dad wagon Evo, but I just wanted like a stock Evo wagon to drive and see how it was, have a nice cool little daily, something unique. And then now we're gonna have to build this thing, I guess. Yeah. Is that what we have to do?
That's what it's looking like, probably.
So this is how the rods looked in there. So you can see how clean they look. So it looks like the rods have been, replaced or refreshed or whatever. So you're gonna go ahead and pull this cap off of here, see what the bearings and stuff look like that. And there, these cranks are nitrided too. So you can't have them turned. The only thing you can do is pretty much polish them. So we might be able to just get away with throwing bearings in it. But at that point, like we're a set of pistons and rods away from a 2.4 stroker. How's that one look? There's that rag. Uh-oh. I lied about the rag. Use the cleanest rag in the shop, okay?
Yeah, because these bearings are brand new, so. Super scored and super pitted.
So, they're not bad.
They're not good.
But they're not good. That's definitely. So that's our issue. So what do you guys think we should do? Should we throw new bearings in it?
Should we just put the whole build on the back burner and just move on to something else?
Should we put the K series in the wagon? No, I definitely don't want to do that. The whole point of this build was to build an Evo, not have like a bastardized wagon thing. Like I wanted an Evo wagon because it came with this in it from the factory. Ah, man. I guess let's pull the other ones and look at those too. But I don't want to put this in here and run it and then just be mad.
No. Yeah, we pulling it out in a week.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because these engines, it's not like a Honda where you could pull them out in like an hour.
Yeah, these are a pain.
It's like you pull it out in like a day.
Yeah, these are a pain.
Back on she goes. All right, so we're gonna clean out this little oil tube right here.
Can you see in there and see the material that's in there?
No, it's hard to see. Just gonna. see if we can get the chunks out of it, and then I'll show you guys. Okay, guys, so here is just an example of some of the stuff that was in the pan, the bearing material.
That was in the pickup tube.
Pickup tube, actually. Not even what was in the pan.
I can go digging in the pan next.
Gold panning?
Gold, yeah.
But instead of gold, it's bearing material.
Yeah, bearing material, exactly.
Bearing material pan. So there's a couple options that we have now. It's buy another motor, which probably not going to do that. We could build this motor, which we could do that.
We have the 2.4 over there.
Or I guess, so put bearings in this and then build the 2.4 on the side, which is always the plan. Always, the plan was always to just throw this in, drive it for a couple months.
So you want to put bearings in this without polishing the crank or anything?
Well, that would be the thing, is like we'd have to pull the crank apart, we'd have to do all, and if you're going to do that,
might as well just build a motor.
You might as well order pistons and rods and do all that other stuff and then put the engine in there once.
I'm not a fan. I've pulled I think 3 motors out of these things already, and I don't like it too much. So I'd rather avoid doing it again if we have to.
What?
It's the worst. You like pulling motors out of Evos, Blake? Me either. They're not Civics, I'll tell you that.
We have the 2.4 liter over here that came out of this. The 4G69 is technically what it's called. I feel like this is like an Evo graveyard, Mitsubishi graveyard. So this is the engine that came in the mystery auction Evo, the black one right there, and this one had the crank girdle off of it. Then our good engine right there is now bad, not the worst, but, and then we have the single overhead cam 4G69, which is the same deck height, has a 100mm crank in it from the factory, and you can pretty much bolt on this head onto that block with some like stroker pistons, like the same pistons and rods that they use in the 2.3 strokers. You just bolt those in this block, and then now you have a 2.4, except for this is 87mm. So yeah, that is our options. Kind of bummed because we were gonna put a clutch in this thing tomorrow and then get this thing running and driving, and then now, depending on whatever we do, I might just get on the internet real quick, see if I could overnight some things and stuff, and possibly just huh?
We're gonna tow it down the road with my truck, and we're gonna drive it this week, come hell or high water. You guys mark our words, we're driving this thing by Friday, whether it's under its own power or not. So
is that what we're doing? Maybe we could just hook up a drill in the tranny tunnel to the drive shaft.
Yeah.
And then we'll just go cruising it like that.
We're gonna tow this thing down the road with the truck, just to get it
and
driving.
it just looks so good too.
It does. Looks great.
Dang it. All right. See you guys later.